Cassie, how are you today?
I am doing so great. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. I mean, what better way to spend a Sunday with someone that's awesome, amazing, talented, badass? I mean, I can go all day because
Uh,
you're basically amazing here. I love what you do. So, welcome to the show.
awesome. Thank you so much. So happy to be here.
Perfect, perfect. Going straight to the interview now. Tell me how your journey through holistic health started.
It started because I was pretty unhealthy, had a very unhealthy relationship with my body for about, I would say, throughout my whole entire 20s. I'm in my 30s now, and throughout my 20s, it was a lot of yo-yo dieting, confused about what diet worked, confused about, the whole self-love versus, treating yourself to whatever you want to eat versus um, going on a diet, watching a lot of commercials, being very influenced by what us young girls should be doing as far as food goes, as far as how we look, how much we should exercise. I took on a lot of advice from other people and didn't ever tune into myself to figure out what I really needed until about 30 years old. So it was a journey just getting myself to a place of feeling really healthy. And through that journey, I realized that so many people are feeling this way, and I could help them too, because I do have the experience of working through a 10-year period of just not loving my body, not loving myself. And so I thought that I really feel so passionately about this that I want to help other people change their lives for the better.
Wow. I'm already speechless right now. This is the first one. We just started and now I'm a bit speechless. But it is so cool the fact that you were in that position and then you were able. I mean, you noticed that there was like a mistake there, and you were just up for the change, up for the challenge, and you managed. I mean, it is so amazing because we all know a lot of people here, right? That they are stuck in this unhealthy lifestyle and they just don't want to change. You know what I mean? That it's hard for them to realize that there is an error there. That there is something wrong here. And I do believe that the first way to the first way to fix something is to admit that there is a mistake there. That there is something bad going on there. So that is so cool, the fact that you managed to just flip it over and be like, you know what, I haven't had a positive lifestyle recently. It's time to change. I mean, and now that you mentioned that, like, what were some of the challenges that you had, like, during that transition, from being, as you were mentioning, that you were very unhealthy, that you were kind of ups and downs with your diet here and there. Like, what were some of the challenges on that transition to where you are right now?
Yeah, there were a lot of challenges, and I think just not being connected in with myself and not having that awareness that you were just talking about, that I see so many people lacking, is just self-awareness. And that was me for so long. And I couldn't bring myself to, there's a bug. I couldn't bring myself to the place where I could take radical responsibility for my life. And that was the biggest issue. It was like blaming the commercials, blaming society, or blaming other people for the way that I was treating myself. And now in retrospect, it's so clear to see, and it's very obvious, because I now have more knowledge and wisdom. Sorry, there's a big truck driving by. That happens a lot. Through this experience of all of my ups and downs, it gave me so much knowledge now, with all of the research I've done, with all the podcasts I've listened to, just like your show here, it's really helped. My perspective did take a while to shift, and once it did, it kind of just clicked in. After going through my worst downs of my life, I know I'll never get back to that place ever again, and I'll help other people avoid having to go that low in order to rise up.
Wow. And like, would you say that it is so interesting because like getting, like, start to work or like basically start to work on your body. I mean, um, I do think that sometimes we forget about it. You know, we just think that we are gonna live forever, and it's so interesting that we just tend to forget that, and we will put attention to other stuff here and there. But in the inside, what we don't know is that eventually all of those either that you don't have like a proper sleep cycle, or that you have a terrible a terrible eating order, right? I mean, you have a total eating disorder here and there. I mean, it is so interesting that even though that you will put attention to other stuff, your body instantly starts to give you signs, or even you will look totally different from what you are trying to say, you know, because for example, um, it happened to me that like a personal experience that I used to work in, you know, in the whole nightclub scenario, DJ and everything. It was amazing. I loved it, but it was a constantly working overnight, like basically from Wednesday till Saturday, and it was like that for like a year, I think, year and a half, almost two. And it was so funny because for my friends, they all thought that I was 30, and at that moment I was on my 20s. I was like, no, I'm in my 20s. They're like, dude, you look like 30. And I was like, okay, that's not good. But it is so interesting because later on I went to a nutritionist, and then he said it makes total sense because you will probably feel young, and you will probably be able like to do certain stuff because yeah, you're in your 20s, but your body from the inside is totally messed up. So you need to you know, start to work on that. So it is so interesting that you mentioned, and that you are raising awareness that like to put attention to it. You know, I do think that it's like a balance, right?
You do think what?
That is like a balance, right? That you need to have like a balance in your life. I mean, you besides working out, proper sleeping cycle, have a proper healthy diet, you know, things like that.
Yes, definitely. Balance is key, and I never ever tell anyone that they should strive for perfection and they need to eat the perfect things all the time. Because we're human. We need to enjoy ourselves, but we also want to respect ourselves. And a big message and lesson I've been getting lately is it doesn't matter what day it is. It doesn't matter if it's summer or a holiday or the weekend. And a lot of times we create an excuse around, well, it's this day, so I'm going to eat whatever I want. Go crazy. And cheat day. And the whole cheat day thing really gets me too, because that tells our subconscious mind that we're cheating ourselves. And we shouldn't ever think that way. I think it's great to treat yourself once in a while, but not cheat yourself, because then that shows ourselves that we're not worthy of really giving ourselves what we truly deserve, and the respect and love that our bodies and our minds and our souls really need and desire.
I love it. Yes, I do agree on that. Wow.
Good.
Now, some of the things that you do are awaken feminine energy, spiritually develop and expand, heal wounded masculine energy, and confidently live and speak your truth. But let's start with awaken feminine energy. Tell me, give you like a little about how that process works. Like for those who don't know and want to know about it, what can you give us like a hint on that, like a trailer, let's say?
Awesome. Yeah. So feminine energy is something that we all have, no matter what gender we are, same with masculine. We all have the feminine and masculine. And in my experience, especially lately, it's lots of lessons around balancing those two out. And throughout our lives, we tend to suppress our feminine energy. And this is something that happens a lot because society really is big on the masculine and going for your dreams and not sleeping until you're dead. And these are very masculine, toxic masculine traits that are pushed on us from a very early on age. And that was one of the reasons I was out of touch with who I was because I was out of touch with my feminine energy. So your feminine energy is really the ability to flow with life, to open and accept love, to be excited and happy, and it's a more of the emotional side of the divine energies. And when your feminine energy is suppressed, which so many of us have suppressed feminine energy, we're not able to fully enjoy life as it's designed for us to enjoy, because we're disconnected from our heart center, which is where the feminine energy really lives.
Yeah.
because we're more in our heads, which is where the masculine energy lives. So really, the process of coming in touch with your divine feminine energy is getting out of the head, which kind of could cause anxiety, depression, looking towards the future, thinking about what went wrong in the past, versus being in the present moment and really experiencing it and accepting the moment for what it is with open arms. Even when things aren't going perfectly, it's still allowing life to move through you so you can learn the lessons that you are literally experiencing. People like to suppress the lessons because they're focused on what went wrong, but although things can go wrong, we can really learn from them, and that is definitely being in touch with the feminine energy.
Wow. Huh. Interesting. Now, would you say that that perhaps one of the problems like one of the problems that we do have right now is the fact that we are now used. I mean, we are now getting used to get things like this. You know, we tend to get everything fast. I mean, the word process, the word like it's gonna take time, like it like instantly it just like bounces in our head like no, I don't want that. You know, like we already got used to that. That I think that also due to that we have stopped ourselves to enjoy the little things. You know, to enjoy life, to enjoy either moments on your own. You know, and I think also that I mean maybe that also can be the fact that that we just stop enjoying life and then problems start to happen, you know?
Exactly. I couldn't agree more with you. And I think that's why when I bring awareness to the feminine energy, it's more than just being girly and being flirty. It's like almost doesn't even have to do with that, although that could be a part of it. But it's just really about having patience, like you said, that we don't really have anymore because we get things in the blink of an eye. We order Amazon and it comes the same day. And so we're in that mindset of want it, get it. And it's hard for people in general to have that patience because that means that we kind of have to be in our hearts, be in our bodies instead of in our minds.
Yeah, totally. And you know what? Like I'm a little bit afraid of the new generations because I mean at least for us we got like that transition of discovering like whoa, you know, that you will buy something and you will get it like the same day. You're like, oh, that's cool. But now like these new generations are already used to that. You know, it's like they were born to that and they see it like normally. You know, and it is so interesting because now I see new generations they will put more attention on the superficial instead of you know like on the inside. And now I think that is also the cause why perhaps you will have like this generation in which they're not just comfortable with themselves, but I would assume it's because they haven't worked on themselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's very on the shelf, you know, and even a really good example of that is someone who consumes like really fake processed chemical sugar all the time because they want to look on the outside skinny. That's what I did for a long time. I would say, I even said I'd rather be unhealthy and look good, knowing that this causes cancer or whatever, because I was so focused on how I looked versus actually feeling myself from the inside out and understanding that that truly affects the way I look as well is how I treat myself on the inside.
Wow, I love that. And now, tell me about heal wounded masculine energy. Also, tell me a little bit about how the process work as well.
Absolutely. So, like I mentioned, we all have masculine energy, just like we all have feminine energy.
Yeah.
So, when we, you know, I'm gonna go inside because I think he's gonna mow out here. So I'm gonna come out inside.
Take your time. It's okay.
Hey, 1 second. I don't want it to be too loud where you can't hear me. I apologize.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Okay. It's too loud out there. I was just enjoying and my landlord comes and... Okay. So when it comes to healing the wounded masculine, I kind of touched on that with, you know, society really pushing, sleep when you die, you know, go hard, basically work for money so you can retire and then enjoy life. So having the wounded masculine is very forceful, it's very in the head, and not as much in the heart center, not as much in the body. And when the wounded masculine is so present, it's a very defensive energy. It's very much having a wall up, and that also suppresses the feminine, which really takes, this is what I work with my clients, my coaching clients on, is healing that wounded masculine, and naturally their divine feminine comes to the surface when they heal that masculine energy, because they really work hand in hand with each other. And it's important to have them balanced and not just say, okay, my masculine is the most important energy, so I need to make sure I work on that, or my feminine is the most important. They're both just as important. You can even think of it as the feminine as the spirit, and the masculine as like the body and the mind. And it's bringing those in balance. It's kind of like aligning your chakras when you get your divine feminine and divine masculine in a really good place where they are working with each other instead of working against each other. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, absolutely. Huh. That's so interesting. Yeah. And you know, it is so funny because I mean, as I was growing up, I do remember that you know that like my grandfather or even my father, you know, like the fact that it was like forbidden to cry. You know, you can't cry. You know, it was like, you're a man. You're supposed to not cry. You're supposed to hid your emotions. You're supposed to as you were mentioning, like your dreams, forget about that. You will work your entire life, and then when you're 50, 60, then you will get your dreams, and then you can do whatever you want now that you will have like a lot of money. But then the question started to be, I mean, why would I have to wait until 60 when I can just start to do it right now and just working on it, you know? And then the answer would say yes, but probably you will. But if you do that, you're not gonna have like a lot of money. But then I would say, but what's the point of having a lot of money if when I want to enjoy it, I'm gonna be 60 and there's gonna be a lot of things that I'm not gonna be able to because of my age, or probably I'm just too bored, or I just don't want to try it anymore, you know, because of that. So it is so interesting that you mentioned that, because I do think, as a guy, that that on some cases we still have like this stereotype that men can't cry, men can't show emotion. You know, you need to always be like the strong, like the strong, and you know, like all the muscle and blah blah blah. So it is so interesting that all of like the process that you take to heal that. So.
Yeah, I'm so glad you brought up the emotions too, because that's something that I think is very, very present in society today, with men especially being taught that from their fathers, just because that's what they were taught from their fathers, and it's just that happens, and you know, that's okay. But I think that we kind of are in this generation, in this time where things are shifting, and we're changing the narrative. And you know, when men cry, I see that as a power. I see that as strength. That I see that as sexy. You know, I see that as something that is like, wow, you are that confident, and you're that in touch with yourself that you're able to show your truest self from what you're really feeling on the inside. That's power right there. That's not weakness.
Yeah, that's the thing, exactly. And like funny enough, I mean, I remember that you know, when my father used to say that, I mean, it was so interesting. But then later on, you start to understand. I mean, it's not their fault, you know. It's just the way they were raised like that, and they're trying to teach kind of the same messages in order for you to kind of be better. I mean, at the end, there is no school for parenting. You know, there's like no guide for you to be like the perfect parent. So yeah, it is so interesting that now these days we're having like this shift that it is okay to do it. You know, it is okay now that if you want to show emotions, go ahead and do it. If you wanna be a painter, if you want to be a dancer, if you want to be like whatever you want to do, if it is what makes you happy. And it is so nice that now, as I was saying, we're like in this transition that it is okay, when back then it was kind of forbidden, or it was like, you know, it was like, so it was horrible to say that your son wanted to become a dancer. It was like, what? You know, you gotta be kidding me, you know, like all of that. And now it is so cool that we start to see like, I mean, that's fine. I mean, if that's what makes him happy, that's cool, you know?
Absolutely. Like, yeah, I could not agree more with that. And it really lights me up to see people living their truth and truly allowing their passions to live out their passion It's
Totally.
just beautiful. Yeah.
I love it. Wow. And tell me about confidently live and speak your truth. Yeah, like tell me how that works.
Yeah, so I have been going through this time, especially through the past couple of years of all the craziness that's gone on.
Oh yeah.
Personally stepped more into my power,
Mhm.
more into my healed masculine, healed feminine, and I've been able to use my voice a little bit more on socials, just really allowing my truth to shine out of me. Um, as scary as that is, and it took me a long time to do that. I've lost even friends in the process of becoming myself because it almost intimidated them or made them feel like, ooh,
Yeah.
that's, I don't agree with that, which is totally fine. And if someone has that opinion, then our friendship is not in alignment. So because that is how strongly I feel that we really to stand in our truth, whether that means making someone else uncomfortable or not. That's not a problem. That's other people's issues that they're with them own selves, not able to necessarily speak their truth, and so they feel this resistance with someone else who's doing that, especially if it's someone who's close to you who thought was different. And I pride myself on changing every single day. I love to wake up and, oh my gosh, I never thought about it like this. And it's okay to disagree with yourself. It's okay to, your past self. It's okay to change your opinions and your ideas and your truth. It changes as you learn more and as you grow, shift into the person that you're truly meant to become. And a lot of that has to do with stripping away what you are not. A lot of people think that of becoming, becoming your true self is like becoming all of these things, but it's really unbecoming a lot of the things that aren't in alignment with who you are. Because when you're filling yourself up with all of these beliefs or ideas or things that aren't really you, then you're not allowing the space to actually become what you truly are. And so when we do have the courage to say our truth, which is wild to think about, because I feel like we all should just be able to do that without feeling like, oh no, what's gonna happen?
Yeah.
And censorship and all of that stuff has gone a little wild too. So there's a lot of components that go into people suppressing their truth. And by myself, going out there on Instagram, Facebook, or wherever, and just sharing messages that really ring true to my heart, I believe that is helping other people. It's giving other people permission to do to do the same for themselves in order to shine their own light, to say what they really feel, to speak what's on their heart, because we need more heart-centered people that are speaking out these days, and the people speaking out about ego and how you should look, or who did this wrong, or this right versus left, or this versus that. So much competitiveness and challenge when it even just disagreeing. And I think why a lot of people feel, because they know that there might be backlash. But the past year or two have said, after backlash, it doesn't matter. It feels much better to wake up every day excited about saying what's on my heart and getting it out there. It really has been such a life shift for me. And unfortunately, losing a couple of people in my life because of it was the necessary thing that had to happen, because that was part of what was bringing me, that had to melt away in order for me to become and continue to become my true self.
Yeah, absolutely. I do agree that sometimes, in order to follow your dreams or to be happy with yourself, there's gonna be a moment in which you might gonna disappoint even like your close ones, but at the end, that's part of life. It's your life, not theirs. And I do think that I do agree with you, the fact that when you're like on that on that road in which you want to discover yourself, in which you want to be happy with, like, truly with yourself, it can take you to places in which people that you thought that they were always going to be there, they're just gone, or they will treat you differently because now they see like a totally different version of yourself. But it is you, and I mean, it is a shame, but at the same time, I mean, maybe that was supposed to be, so yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
When we do take that courageous step, it's hard to know what's going to happen. It really is stepping into the unknown, which could be scary. But there's so much magic on the other side of that. And that's why I always encourage people to go confidently after what they want and step into the unknown, because chances are it's going to be even brighter on that other side when you have the courage to walk through that like dark tunnel of not knowing what's going to be at the other end.
I love it. I love it. Wow. Now you also have a YouTube channel, but tell me, like, where the idea to create that came from?
Yes, so I've always wanted to make an impact on the world, you know, and so I've been really thinking about different ways to get myself out there to spread messages. And Instagram has been my favorite thing ever for years and years and years. Things are shifting in weird directions and whatnot, and that's why I kind of wanted to extend my platform out, and really just get my face out there again with messages that I truly think are going to impact people and create ripple effects that will. I think I'm not sure what happened. Am I still here?
You can hear me, right? Yeah. Yeah, we're just lagging like a little bit. So, what was the last thing you were saying? Huh?
I'm sorry. I just don't. This is just going a little whack right now. Can you see me?
Yeah, I can see you. Can you see me?
Oh yeah, I just can't see that I'm on screen, so that's okay.
Yeah.
I forgot where
off. So you were in this. So you were like in the process to expand yourself. So then YouTube came.
Oh yes. And YouTube has been such a fun experience. Just getting my videos out there, allowing my message to reach more people, and just to make a greater impact. I do have my podcast episodes, a lot of them on there. So that's a fun way to spread the message about my podcast as well.
I love it. And now that you mentioned the podcast, what are some of the things that we can expect to hear?
Absolutely. So a lot of what we've talked about, talk about the divine feminine energy, the divine masculine energy, how to heal them, what to do when you're having a bad day, just a lot of tips that you could apply to your life in order to truly up-level into the person that we all have the potential to become. It's just a lot of spirituality. I talk a lot about, when depression led me to spirituality, which was one of my first episodes, which is a very popular episode. Unconditional happiness, how to achieve unconditional happiness, which means separating yourself from the outside world in order to find happiness within yourself, no matter what's going on in the outside world, because we all know how chaotic it is out here. And a lot of messages just empowering the people to find that radical responsibility within themselves in order to tap into what they need, and then how to make those shifts in order to step into that person that we just kind of envision ourselves to become.
Wow. Okay. I love it. Now, what are some of the health tips that you could recommend for this week?
Health tips. Okay, so let's just talk about some of the basics that I think a lot of people miss. Like, sleep is a huge one. If we're not getting enough sleep, then it's really hard to do things efficiently throughout the day. So sleep is the first thing. Hydration. One of the best things you can do for yourself every single day is waking up with a nice warm glass of lemon water. And that will not only help hydrate your body, because it's been basically dehydrating all night, but it's also going to help cleanse out your organs and really get your liver functioning in a better way and help your digestion throughout the rest of the day. So that's one of my favorite tips to share, is drink lemon water in the morning, a little lukewarm, so it's not body's like super cold. I warm it up and put some minerals in there, or you can do a little sea salt, just to get those minerals back in your body so the water can absorb a little bit better. So that, along with getting outside, is one of the bestest things that you could do for yourself. You know, when you're getting sun, you get that vitamin D. When you're putting your bare feet in the grass, you're grounding yourself. You're becoming more into your body. Again, like the head, it's helping you balance the energy, helping your nervous system regulate. And then last but not least, what I mentioned, breath. Let's breathe deeper into our bellies instead of shallow breathing. I think it's about 70% of people rarely take a deep belly breath very frequently. And that's something that will help our health, is breathing deeper into our bellies, just taking a minute to like letting your belly expand and come in, and doing that for just 30 seconds to a minute. Ooh, you'll feel a little hot, more grounded, and you'll feel just more energized. It's amazing the power that our breath has.
Wow. I'm taking note on that. You can kind of, I'll be doing that for this week and forever. That's really cool. I love it. Now, what motivates you, Cassie? I mean, we all have those days in which we want to quit. We think that it's that we're wasting time. Like getting inside into all of these toxic thoughts. It's always way too easy. But what usually puts your feet back on the ground so you can continue on this journey?
I love that you asked this, because as a health coach, a lot of people ask me, how do I get motivated? What is it? Like, I'm just lacking motivation. Can you help me? And what I always say to that is we should never rely on motivation to take action that will be beneficial for ourselves, because feeling like we need to rely on motivation is relying on our emotions perfectly stable and where we have to be feeling at all times. But humans are finicky for that. Way too up and down. We're way too emotional for that. So what we need to do, instead of relying on motivation, is actually creating motivation for ourselves through discipline, through making a plan. Feel masculine right there. Making a plan and actually following through with that. And that right there, what happens when you go to the gym for a week after you planned? You feel so awesome, and it gives you that motivation of like, wow, I feel so much better. I feel like my energy is up. So when you take aligned action, that is what gives you motivation, rather than relying on the motivation itself to allow what you want to do. We do the things that we want to do to feel motivated.
Wow, I love it. And like my last question here is, what can we expect from you in the future?
I love this question. Thank you so much for asking. I do have an amazing couple workshops coming up in June. So the first one is on June 14th, and it is all about tapping into spirituality, your intuition, and I'm going to go through different practices and embodiment work where you can really tap into that feminine and allow that to awaken, so you can feel a little bit more inspired in your life, because it's more than just physical. It's tapping spiritual. And then the second workshop is all about balancing divine feminine and masculine. So we do a whole workshop on that, and that is June 28th. And I have all of this information on my Instagram too, so anyone can check that out. So besides those workshops coming up, I am going to continue coaching. So I have some spots open for one-on-one coaching as well. But you can expect more from my podcast. You can expect more from me speaking out my truth on Instagram, on YouTube, all of these things. And you can expect a lot of ripple effects to change, hopefully, to come everything that I'm putting out there.
Wow, Cassie, that is so cool. I love what you do. It is so amazing and so inspiring. The fact that you are giving, that you're, and the fact that you are sharing positivity and you want to spread the word and help people. That is really cool. And you know what? I'm super sure that your career and what you do is gonna be. I mean, everybody's gonna know about it. Everybody will is gonna check on that, because we need more people like you, actually, who can give us a tool, something that we can use for improve our quality of life, either from the outside but also from the inside. And that is so cool what you do, and I love it.
Thank you so much. I so appreciate you for asking these amazing questions, and for also making this world by bringing on so many people that have different perspectives and ideas that we all bring to the world. So thank you so much. Really, really appreciate you.
Well, what can I say? I mean, at the end of the day, all of this is possible because of all of you amazing, awesome, talented people that have given me the time to make this happen. So I want to thank those who are watching this right now. Thank you so much. If you're either watching this later here on Instagram or probably later on YouTube, or if you're on the way to work or walking with the dog or whatever, you can listen in on Spotify or Apple Podcast. Make sure to follow Cassie in all over social media. Normally, what I would say is for you to put pause and go follow her. I mean, let's make her viral. Hashtag Team Cassie because she's awesome. She's badass. Let's make sure everybody knows about her. And before I send you off, I need to send you off properly, with an epic send off. So if you have seen some of my episodes before, you know exactly what is about to happen. But if not, I can surprise you. So I love that. So let me show you.
Thank you.
I love it. I promise that at some point we're gonna have live audience, but COVID, But in the meantime, keep killing it, keep being awesome, keep being this amazing, talented person, and that you always are. And I'll see you in the next one.
Sounds great. Thank you so much.
Have a good one. Bye.
Bye.